Welcome to No Tourists Allowed, a podcast where two recognized travel industry executives with a combined 71 years on the inside of travel and technology give up their secrets to the thing everyone wants to do. Travel better, spend less, and see more of the world. Here are your hosts, Mike Putman and James Ferrara.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Putman.
And I'm James Ferrara, and I don't know about the spend less part, Mike. I just came back from Pebble Beach, and you, as an expert golfer, know when you go into the store, and this is Pebble Beach, California, guys, and one of the great golf resorts in the world. You go into a store at a golf resort like that, it is no joke. I mean, I went to buy a golf shirt for my son. It was like $200 for a golf shirt. It's $100 for a hat.
Oh,
What's
come
up
on.
with that?
It wasn't $100.
I'm going to print up my own stuff, make up a name of a golf course. And anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. Welcome to No Tourists Allowed, everyone. And we are here to talk about, well, travel experiences, but we're here to talk about traveling in a certain way, right? Getting you maybe to think about not the big box brands and the usual tourist routes and pathways and byways of the world, but to think about going to less traveled places and to traveling in a way that gives you more authentic sense of the place that you're visiting and just better memories. It's a deeper, more meaningful way to travel without getting too hippy dippy on you. We also like to have fun, but
That's right.
Mike and I are here with 100 years of experience almost, and we'd like to share it with you. And we bring some great friends and guests on with us to do the same, share their expertise in the travel business, and help you find your way around the world.
Absolutely. And, today I want to talk a little bit about a somewhat of a unique topic, and that is how to plan a golf trip. So, and first of all, let me back up and say, James said that I'm an expert golfer. So all of my friends that are listening will know that's BS. I'm not an expert golfer. I like to play golf, but I'm not an expert for sure. Yeah. Anyhow, but I've been around the travel space, have a passion for golf, and I feel like I'm in a good place where I can help provide some information on how to plan a golf trip. So, if we can, we'll start the episode off there today, James. One of the more difficult things about planning golf, especially if you're doing it on your own, is trying to corral 4 or 8 people, because there are these incremental components that are required of a golf trip that you don't have in a normal trip, right? So getting tee times at resorts, so you'll hear a lot of cocktail talk where people say, "Oh, I'm going to Ireland. Do you want to go with me?" or something, and then they don't have any really idea of where to go, how to structure the trip, and a big part of that revolves around getting tee times, especially at the exclusive resorts like Pebble Beach, which you were just at this week, or the Old Course, or in St. Andrews, or any of those venues. So, first of all, I'd say there are several golf tourist tour packaging companies out there that are really. There's a couple out of Atlanta. Premier is the name of one that does a good job. Really good people. But you end up paying a premium because most people do this kind of once in a lifetime or a couple of times in a lifetime trip to Scotland. Like, that's every golfer's dream. But getting tee times at those courses that you really want to play, your bucket list courses like the Old Course, Carnoustie, Kingsbarn, etc., they're not easy to come by. And as a matter of fact, they're at a very strong demand. And the tour operators, these tour companies, like I mentioned, often get tee times in advance there. And it's really, really difficult to get that. But you have this whole kind of issue of all right, I can get a tee time, I can get it at this time on this date. Then you have, it's somewhere like the old course, which is a very hard golf course to get on. And then you have to plan the rest of your trip around that. And then you have to talk to your buddies or girlfriends and say, hey, can you guys get off this week? I was able to score a tee time at the old course, and we need to revolve our trip around that. So it takes a lot of effort, a lot of planning. I've done a lot of these trips, for mainly for my friends, doing these type things, and it takes a hell of a lot of work.
So are you saying you pay a little bit of a premium to go through one of these tour companies, or do you have an option to do it yourself, to build it yourself, or you really can't score the tee times that?
Well, you can. There's some exceptions, but there are ways around it. So, again, I'm talking about St. Andrews because everybody wants to go play the old course. So, there are several ways to get tee times there. One is going through a tour operator, tour packager. The second is there's some hotels in St. Andrews that get an allotment of tee times, so they make you stay maybe 3 days or 5 days, like the old course hotel. And if you stay there and you're paying a premium for your room, but they can get you on the old course, or you can go into a lottery system, a ballot system, where you don't really have a confirmed tee time until you get over there. I will say I've been over probably 12 times and I've gotten on every single time, but a lot of people aren't willing to take that risk, especially if they're doing a once in a lifetime trip. So, and the premium is pretty dear, James. It's if you go with the tour operator, you're going to pay around 30% more than if you did it on your own.
Yeah, we have a couple of providers like Sports Empire and a few others at my company that we use. But, I know that these are premium to luxury trips, the way they're priced, and the experience is great. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. But I will tell you this: other than the old course, most of in Carnoustie probably, a lot of the other courses, not all. If you're an existing member of the club, this is what I do. I look up where I want to play. Like if I want to play at Nairn, I look up the name of the secretary. So the secretary is typically the person there at the club that's in charge. Look up his name and then write him a nice email or a paper letter at times and say, hey, I'm Mike Putman. I'm a member of this club. My handicap is this. I'm coming over during this time period. Are there times you can let me play as an unaccompanied guest, or either put me with a member, and I need two tee times or whatever. And I will tell you, you always get a response, and they're very accommodating typically because a lot of these clubs live, especially in Scotland, they kind of fund the club off the visitor fees because you pay unlike the US, where you pay a high entry fee to become a member of a private club and you pay a high monthly fee. In Scotland, you might pay £500 a year to be a member of a golf club um, over there. So they rely a lot on these visitors fees. So they're generally happy to get you, out there to play and accept your money. So it's a lot of work, but it can be a lot of fun putting the trip together. And the other thing you got to worry about is how do you get around? So there are services that will drive you around. If you've got, eight people or 12 people, it makes sense to get a driver. Or you can rent a car, rent a van, and drive yourself. But knowing you're going to be driving on the left-hand side of the road. And you definitely need a designated driver because they have zero tolerance for what they call drink driving over there. You really can't even have a beer, I don't think, and be under the limit. So you need to have a designated driver or, hire a service to do the driving for you.
Mike, those are actually great insider tips. Now, I've been to some great golf resorts around the world, even though I personally don't golf. But I have been to St. Andrews. I've been to Glen Eagles. I've been to, obviously, just now to Pebble Beach a number of times. Where else? What are some of the hot spots?
I would say for the U.S. market, if you're going to do something and you want a lot of golf and a low cost, Myrtle Beach is a great alternative, especially during like October till April, maybe till March. That's their off season. There's a lot of condos for rent. Tee times. There's like 120 courses in the Myrtle Beach area. So it's a great kind of inexpensive place. A lot of people from the Northeast drive down. There's also low cost carriers that fly in there. Miami's a great location. There's a lot of accessible golf courses you can play there. Hawaii has really good golf courses. There's a, you're 5 hours from the West Coast to get there, probably 8 or 9 from the East Coast to get to Hawaii. That's some great golf. It is relatively expensive, but the place that I think probably has the best golf in the world is in in the Melbourne area of Australia. So if you want to do another once in a lifetime trip, um, Melbourne has 3 of the top 20 golf courses in the world within 5 miles of each other. So really and these are all private clubs. But again, if you write the secretary, you get a chance. You should be able to get a chance to play a lot of these really really great clubs.
What I love is one of these dramatic seaside courses. Now, I don't know. I don't know if they're the best courses or not. My summer house is near Maidstone Golf Club in East Hampton, which I believe is the oldest club in the United States, and also Shinnecock Hills, which has been the site of PGA tournaments, and that's in Southampton. It's on the bay side, overlooking the bay. But just came back from Pebble Beach, which, again, not a golfer, so I can't really evaluate, but I can tell you from a scenery point of view, has to be one of the most stunning courses in the world. I mean, just this windswept oceanside holes, waves crashing on the rocks, just a fog rolling in, spectacularly beautiful. And I used to live in San Diego, where very near to Torrey Pines. So I don't know if you've ever played out there, Mike, but that's another really incredible course.
Yeah, and in that Carmel area in where Pebble Beach is, there's several good golf courses, and as well as Cypress Point, which is my second favorite golf course in the world, which is literally almost impossible to get on it. They say it's the hardest golf course in the world to get on, including Pine Valley and Augusta. But I've had the opportunity to play that one. But yeah, I think, in my opinion, honestly, Pebble Beach is overpriced. They require you to stay on property for 3 nights to be able to play the course. I think the course is
not cheap.
It's like $650, and it is very scenic. It's not a great golf course, in my opinion, but there are places like Bandon Dunes up in Bend, Oregon, that it's a similar setup, but there's really nothing else to do but play golf. But it's a great place to go. There's 5 courses now, and green fees are significantly less than what they are at Pebble. But it's just on the ocean, so just as dramatic views and so forth.
When I was a kid, we used to go to Casa de Campo and La Romana in the Dominican Republic. Another, beautiful course along the striking rocky cliffs and ocean side down there. Again, I don't know about the quality of the course. The aesthetic quality was very good.
Yeah, no, it's a peak dive course. It's a top 20 in the world. It is a great golf course.
Really?
Yeah. Teeth of the Dog is the name of that.
Yeah, Teeth of the Dog. That's right. So look, we're seeing more and more that sports and cultural events, particularly music concerts and music festivals, are moving people around the world in a way, far beyond what they used to. And golf certainly is one of the prime sports categories for that. People traveling around, going on these golf trips. There's also right now, Formula One, very, very popular, and people going to. A friend of mine was in Monte Carlo recently for that, and I saw it in Las Vegas last year. And soccer, or what they call football somewhere. All of that is driving people all around. But really, sports is such a communal thing, too. You get together a group of people, and a golf, I mean, so communal. And when you're off the course, there's all the rest of it, the dinners, the fun, a little bit of drinking, whatever. cultural activities, we'll call it, right? Um, just think it's a great sort of travel for people to explore. And while you're doing it, of course, you're still seeing, history and architecture, and you can still do all the other things that other types of travelers do. But it's now built around your gamesmanship and your golf experience, which I think is very cool.
It's kind of for everybody too, James, because you've got sports travel in a participatory manner where you go and play golf, but you also have it in a manner where you're going to watch a golf tournament or you're going to a Formula One race, right? Where you're just watching not necessarily participating. So, it crosses a lot of different age groups, backgrounds, diversity, and sports travel is a very large part of the total travel industry.
And golf now, obviously men and women playing golf, young and old playing golf, and experienced and not so experienced. So that's maybe something, is that people shouldn't be intimidated by the idea of a golf trip. I was telling Mike this morning that while I was in Pebble Beach, this event that I was at, big golf event, has been held for 27 years in Pebble Beach. And this year, for the first time in 27 years, someone got a hole in one on one of the great holes, the number 7 hole on the Pebble Beach course, out over the ocean, spectacular. But the next day, someone got a hole in one at Spyglass, one of the other courses there. And it turns out it was the guy's first time ever playing golf. And it was only the second hole he had ever hit at it. So and he got a hole in one at Pebble Beach.
I'm still letting that soak in. Right now, it's still at I'm calling bullshit level. But
No, he actually received an award. He received an award for it at the event. So it's for everyone, right? It's an opportunity for everyone.
I wanted to share another story that came up this week in the news. I'm not sure if our listeners heard about it, but there was a fella named Ben Keenan who lived in Seattle. He's one of these TikTok content creators. That's his livelihood. I mean, what a great job, by the way. You just make TikTok videos. Anyhow, he had a challenge of could he live as he does, which is from reading articles, kind of a moderate lifestyle, nothing too extravagant. Or could he go to an all-inclusive resort for 1 month, which would be less expensive? So he created this TikTok challenge. Expedia came in behind and actually fronted the money for this in a partnership with Ben, and sent him to Playa del Carmen in Mexico. They didn't mention the name of the resort, though, which I thought was kind of strange in the article. But at any rate, the guy lived, the total cost of the trip came to $4,900 for a month. And he compared that to living at home in Seattle. His rent was like $2,000. His utilities, his food, blah, 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 all came up to like $4,100. So it was almost the same price living at an all-inclusive resort as it was at staying at home. And even Ben recognized he booked this last minute, so there was probably some additional savings on the all-inclusive that he didn't get to take advantage of because this idea came about at the last minute. But it's just, there's this old adage too, you could actually send your parents on a round-the-world cruise less expensively than you could put them in a retirement home. And that is true as well. But that's really, really interesting. But the other kind of learnings from Ben was, even though we compared the two experiences, there wasn't a way he could put a monetary value on having a daily maid service, which you have at an all-inclusive resort, being on the water, having beach parties, having this entertainment, all these things that are included. And again, I think that just kind of underscores the real value of these all-inclusives, especially when you catch them at the right time. What an affordable vacation that could be, and what an awesome way to live.
Yeah, and probably a hell of a lot less work and effort, right? You don't have to take care of the landscaping or fix the roof or
And it includes room service too. I forgot about that, free room service. So
yeah. I'll take that deal.
maybe when you retire, which is can't be very much longer, you could just you can move into an all inclusive resort.
I wouldn't. Don't put it past me. Um, so the other thing I was thinking about besides golf, well, sticking with golf for a second. So you go on a golfing trip. Everyone else golfs, you don't. What do you do? Well, at Pebble Beach, for the attendees at this event, you have two choices. You could either take the golf tee times, or you could take the spa appointment. And they happen to have a world class spa at Pebble Beach. And I'll let you guys guess which one I did. Uh, I took the spa appointments, and they were spectacular. 80, 90-minute massages in this incredible facility, just really um, high technique, high experienced masseuse, excellent. And then, all of those outdoor pool and lounging area, a quiet conservatory, uh, plunge pools, jacuzzis, cold pools, saunas, aromatherapy rooms, um, steam rooms, and so on. So, not too shabby. And there are great spa resorts all around the world. And I thought Mike and I might talk for a minute about some of the ones that we know of and some of our experiences there. And I'll start off. There are spas like the one I went to was all about those kinds of spa services. But there are even broader spas like Canyon Ranch, for example. And Canyon Ranch has a couple locations, one up in the Berkshires and one outside Tucson, Arizona.
There's one in Nashville too, by the way.
Right, and they're on several cruise ships too. But there it's a much broader notion of spa and wellness and sort of self care, which is very important right now. We're just a couple of years past the pandemic, and that time did a lot of harm to a lot of people, and really highlighted for me the importance of self care. So taking care of yourself, being kind to yourself, being good to your body, and so on. So at Canyon Ranch, in my experience, in my time there, it was not just about the kinds of spa services I just mentioned, but also about um, exercise opportunities, including things like Tai Chi class at dawn, overlooking, the sunrise over the desert, and hiking and biking and cycling in a studio, all the stuff you know about, even boxing and so on. But then it also went to nutrition, where they have a world famous and highly rated restaurant at Canyon Ranch where you're getting this sort of gourmet food, but it's very carefully designed around caloric intake and things that are good for you, and lots of vegetables, Um, and the food is really spectacular. I even have the cookbook, the Canyon Ranch cookbook, and it looks like a five-star, restaurant in Manhattan. Um, so food is part of it, and culture is part of it, and being in that environment is part of it. In those like adobe casitas, these little cottages out on the desert with the beautiful sort of dark desert out in front of you, but this and all kinds of flowering plants and stuff. Um, so, spa can mean a lot of different things. And Canyon Ranch was really a pinnacle for me. That was one of the best I've ever been to. But even recently, I was down in Tulum in Mexico, not far from where your TikToker was, just below there. And Hilton has a property, and on that property is a Conrad, one of their luxury hotels, and then a Hilton all inclusive, really spectacular. And on the same property is the Conrad Spa. And just, architecturally, stunning, all, 5-star spa treatments, and comes along with the price tag for all of that. But things like heated stones on your back and couples massages. I've been to places like Sandals and Club Med in the Caribbean where they do those couples massages in open huts or on balconies overlooking the ocean. There's just so much. Do you spa, Mike?
Yeah, well, I get massages. I don't know. I don't do much of the rest. I mean, I might get in the occasional whirlpool and the cold plunge, but I do take a massage quite frequently when I travel. And I'll tell you who has a great spa that you would not think of is Moon Palace. So just south of Cancun, and IntelliTravel, James's company, had an event there in December that we both went to. And I didn't get to use the spa this time because I was too busy, but they have a world class spa, and it is huge. Really nice there. Also, think about Half Moon in Jamaica, which is a fantastic, actually my favorite resort in the world. And they have these jetties that go out into the ocean, and so you kind of go out, literally out into the ocean, and then there's an open air hut, and you can have a massage out there, and you're really surrounded by water 340 degrees, other than the small path back. So that's a really cool experience with nice ocean breezes and warm temperatures.
Now all major destinations have spas, right? Even Las Vegas has become known for the spas at some of the big hotels. In the fall, I'll be out in Napa Valley at the Mission Inn and Spa, an old Spanish style inn out there that's a luxury property, absolutely beautiful. And there they have a wonderful spa. So, I think that spa and wellness are a really important travel category too, just like golf. And people ought to explore that. What a great way to take care of yourself and also have a great time. And people go in groups to these things. You might have a girlfriend's weekend where they're all together in the spa. Um, Guy friends don't tend to do the spa together. But
If you're a single guy, it's great to go to these spas because there's a lot of single women that go to these spas on these girlfriend trips too. So
tip from Mike Putman.
but there are the travel part of spa is people do this as a destination. It's the for me, I would rather go play golf than go to the spa, but I probably will do both to be honest. But there's a lot of people who say, look, this is my trip and I'm going to go hang out at Canyon Ranch Spa for 3 days or 5 days or whatever, and kind of get my life in order or cleaned up or relaxed or whatever your goal is. So there's a lot of destination spa activity in the travel space today as it stands.
Look, and it's a luxurious experience, of course. And I think it's just really it's important to do something nice for yourself, guys. So think about that. Mike, we are working toward the last couple of weeks of our giveaway. We have a free all-inclusive vacation for two, and it's 4 days and 3 nights. And over the last couple of months, we have revealed this season, we've revealed where it is, which is the island of
Jamaica.
Jamaica. That's right. And it's actually in Montego Bay, Jamaica. And I don't know, maybe next week we'll finally give away the actual resort. What we're seeing, if you guys are paying attention, we've had a lot of entries into the
Oh,
giveaway.
yeah.
And it's very easy to get entered. Just go to notouristallowed.com, our website, and you'll find a tab there for entries into our giveaways. And you can sign up for our newsletter and get multiple entries into the giveaway. And you can do a couple of other things, all listed there on the site to get more and more entries. This is not like the state lottery, guys. There aren't a billion people. Your odds are pretty good in this. So
Yeah, I would highly recommend going and registering for the sweepstakes.
And it's our little way of saying thank you. Thank you for listening in, whether it's occasionally or you've subscribed and you're a constant and loyal listener. We appreciate you. And this is just one of the things we do to give back a little bit and have a little fun with you. So please go ahead and get registered.
Absolutely. And also, while we're shamelessly plugging away, here's my book, Money, Dreams, and Coups. So you can find this on Amazon. You can search by my last name, or you can search the title. And I think you'd find this a really interesting read, especially those who know a little bit about my past journey and how that intertwined with the travel company that I was president of for about 7 years. So it's an interesting read. And we also have Paige's book. Paige's one of our recent guests. She was on about a month ago, and her book is out. And actually, James was nice enough to send me a copy, which I literally just received a few minutes ago. So let's plug her book too, James.
Sure, that's Paige McClanahan's new book. Paige is a well-known travel writer, writes for the New York Times and other publications. And her book is called The New Tourist. And so it really dovetails with what we talk about here. Go back and listen to that episode if you missed it with Paige. We really, really like her. We like the way she thinks about travel. And I would say the thesis of the book is um, be aware of how wonderful travel is, but also be aware of the consequences of your travel and tourism. And that's a really important message. And she has countless examples, goes country by country through the world and tells stories of tourism and travelers and the choices that we can make and some of the consequences of our travel, some of the impact of our travel. There it is, The New Tourist, Paige McClanahan. So really like it. We do not get 50 cents for every book that's sold or anything like that. It would have been a good deal. We should have thought of that. But no, we just like it and think you'll like it too.
And really like Paige. She was a wonderful, wonderful guest, and hope to have her back soon.
Yeah. So please tell us, guys, come to notouristallowed.com, send us a note, enter something there about anything you'd like us, a topic you'd like to address with us, maybe a book that you've read that has to do with travel that you would recommend, anything like that. Please contribute, and we'd be happy to share here on the program.
Absolutely. And we really do appreciate you listening in, and we appreciate you sharing the message and having your friends and family subscribe. Our numbers keep going up and up and up in terms of subscriptions and listenership. So we really do appreciate and thank you for being there for us and giving us a little bit of your time each week. And I think that's it for now. And I think we'll be signing off, James.
Yeah, absolutely. Just remember just a couple of weeks left before we give away that free all-inclusive vacation in Jamaica. So if you want in at our very low odds, go ahead and do it now. Thanks again for joining us at No Tourists Allowed.
Bye-bye.